Hello, my name's Charlotte. I'm the owner of Glimmer Glamorous Beauty and Training Academy. Today we're filming a short video to help you at home with your brow mapping. This is purely for practicing purposes to get you ready for your practical training. The more you practice at home, the better you're going to be during your training course, and we can learn to perfect those errors that you might be making as opposed to teaching you the basics. However, please don't worry if there's anything that you don't understand or if you can't seem to be getting it right. We will be covering everything in your practical training. I must remind you that this video is purely for mapping purposes only. Microblading is a semi-permanent treatment. If you make a mistake on the face while trying to practice the actual treatment, you will not be able to change it. So please, under no circumstances are you to carry out the actual microblading treatment until you have completed your 2-day practical training and you have been given the go-ahead by your tutor. Enjoy the video, and like I say, if there is anything you're worried about, please do not hesitate to contact us. So for step 1, you're just going to take your cotton and your pencil, hold your pencil over the cotton and just run the cotton over, and you're going to repeat that until your cotton is completely covered. Okay, so as you can see, this is now pretty much, and sometimes the ends will snap off. I don't know if you can see that. So for step 2, we're now going to start mapping out the brows. Now the most important line is probably this middle line that you're going to do now. It needs to run directly through the middle of the face, because this is going to be the line that all of the other measurements are going to be taken from. So you want to run it from the top of the head all the way down through the centre of the nose, and then you're going to just hold it in place to get that there. Okay. Occasionally you might have somebody whose face isn't completely symmetrical, so you may need to move this line, but you just need to look at it and make sure that it looks centre, because every next line that we do is going to be measured from this middle one, so it needs to be accurate. For step 3, you're now going to find the beginning of the eyebrows, okay, so the fronts. You're going to do this by going from the nostril straight up from the inside of the eye and up. And that is where your eyebrow should start. We're going to do the same the other side. Like that. Before we move on to the next stage, we now need to measure to make sure that the distance between these two is exactly the same as these two. Especially to start with, you're probably never going to get them exact on the first time, okay? And it's okay to keep rubbing these lines out and doing it until they are accurate. So what we're going to do to make sure that we're taking the measurements from the same point each time, we're just going to put a little cross on the forehead, like this. Now this line, please don't let it confuse you as we move further on with the eyebrows and you get more lines. This is purely just for measurements, okay? So you're going to put your calipers, or whatever you're using at home. If you've got a ruler, you want to always make sure that you're starting on that cross and you're putting it where your line is, okay? So then you're going to move it to the other side, and as you can see, that one is ever so slightly off. It's only a fraction, but that will notice if you don't correct that when you're doing the brows. Okay, you want it exactly on. So all we're going to do is just correct that, just like so. And then we're going to check it again. And that is now exact, okay? And that's exactly how you need it. So for the next lines, now we're happy with where those ones are, we now need to find where the arch sits. We do this by going from the corner of the nose, from the nostril, up through the iris, and put it in place like so. There may sometimes be times where it doesn't quite sit right and it's going to change the natural brow shape too much. So what we would then do is go with where the natural brow sits, okay? So you'll need to discuss with your client what their expectations are, what brow shape they want as to where their arch is going to sit. And then you're going to do the same the other side. So you're going to go from the edge of the nose straight up through the iris. And you've now got that one. We're then going to measure again. So again, it's always from that center point. As you can see, that one is a bit off as well. So now we've measured them. We know that they're both exactly the same from the cross to the arch line. And they're both perfect, okay? Now we need to find where the eyebrow is going to finish. We do this by using the edge of the nostril again, so it's always from the same point on the nose. We're going to go up to the edge of the eye. Now it's very important that you go from the eye and not the eyelashes, or you're going to make them too long. So we're going to go like this, straight up to the edge of the eye, and that is where your eyebrow should finish. Now sometimes if you've got somebody with very thick lashes, or if you've got somebody with false lashes on, you could ask them to look up. You could ask them to look to the side so that their lashes move to where you're comfortable, and you can see that the corner of the eye is where your line is going through, okay? And then you're going to do the same the other side. And again, you're going to check those measurements. So you're checking every single time. One slightly off again. So you will need to play around with these and make sure that they're always correct. Okay. So now we've got all of the lines in place, we've measured them all, we know that they are all accurate. We are now going to start with the horizontal lines, which is basically where the lowest point of the brow. We're going to go for how thick the brow is, and then we need to find the arch line. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, we go straight across with the string from the bottom point of the brow, like so. Okay, and we need to make sure that that's always going straight across. Our next line, we're then going to find how thick the eyebrows are. So we tend to go from the top point of the front, and again we're going to go straight across. Like so. We then need to find the arch line. Now by doing this, we're going to sit the string on the highest point of the brow, and again we're going to take it straight across, and that is where the eyebrow should sit. Now you do need to be careful with these lines that go across, because sometimes the string can roll. You may notice here it's got a little bit thicker, and that is where it's rolled down slightly. So just be very careful when you're doing it that your string isn't rolling about on the skin. Okay, I'd say that is in the correct spot though. So that's the 3 lines we need for there. We're also, to find where the bottom of the towel needs to finish, this towel should never finish lower than where the front of the eyebrow starts, okay? So you're going to bring it right round from that line round to here. So you've got it all the way coming round, and you've got the cross point there, okay? I'm going to do the same the other side. Again, as you can see, this one has slightly rolled, so we've put the other line in to bring it back level, and that line should sit the whole way around the face, okay? So that is all of your measurements that you're going to need. After this, we're then going to play a dot to dot. We're going to go from our crosses, so we've got this cross here, we take that up to the cross at the arch. So you've got point 1 and point 2. We go from here to here. Now it is very important that these lines go directly through these crosses. If they're off, it's going to make your measurements off. So you need to make sure that it's going directly through. So we've got our first top part of the brow. We're then going to go from the cross on the arch down to the cross on the towel. And that there is the top of our brow, okay? So it goes up here, down here. Now sometimes you might have a high brow. You can smooth that over. Obviously using string you do get quite a pointed arch. Not everybody likes it like that. But when we're in class I will show you how to smooth that over. You're then going to do the bottom of the brow. So again, you're going to go from that cross, and you're going to run it parallel with that line that you've just created for the top of the brow up until you reach the arch line. Like so. I don't know if you can see that because Brooke has got quite thick brows, but the line just runs underneath. Then we're going to finish off with the last line, which goes from where that cross is with the arch down to this towel. So we're going from in here down to there. And that is your brow shape, and that will be measured exactly to the contour of their face and the shape that they should have. Now at times you're going to get clients that say, oh, but I don't like that bit. You can change it as you need to, but that is the overall how your brow should look. So we're just going to do the same the other side. We're going to go from our cross up through our arch cross, and we're going to make sure that that string is going directly through both and that it doesn't roll on the skin. And then we're going to go from our arch cross down to our towel cross, and then we're going to do the bottom again. So we've got up to the towel running parallel with that top line, and then from there down to our cross. And again, that is, Brooke has got quite thick brows here, so you can't really see that line too well, unfortunately, but that is the brow shape, and you will have nice, accurate, measured out brows. Now don't worry if you don't understand any of this, just keep re-watching the video, making sure you've got your lines in the correct places, but we will be going through this on your practical training, okay? So don't stress if there's anything that you don't understand, we will be going through it. And that is how you map the brows.